We go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings on another conscious evolution. I think at this point I'm probably just talking to myself, or I'm talking to the friends who are tuning in afterwards right now. And it's nice having you here. Blessings. Truly sending you blessings. Today's stream topic is about calming into relief, calming down into relief. I was commissioned to do some work for this weekend, and I only got my commission on Friday, technically. And the media I had to be compiling and creating had to be ready by today for tonight. Don't you tell me to calm down. Calm down, bro. Can you calm down for me, please? Can you please calm down? And I built everything. There was some stressors, there was some software crashes. There were four different iterations that I had to make and then render and then ask and then get told no, then make, then render, then get told no, then make, then render, then get told there's actually other videos they want to pull into the timeline than the ones I was pulling into the timeline. So I then wait until 11, close to 11, for these videos last night, 11 p.m. last night. I get the videos and then I then proceed to render all over again. And now I'm like sitting there watching this thing rendering, and it's taking on average 15 minutes for every slide. And there are 17 slides. So I do the quick maths. I realize that it's gonna take me like 6 hours to get through all of them. And I start thinking to myself, surely there's a better way. So I then recut out everything I had on my timeline. I render only the pieces of the timeline that I needed the software for. And then I take those pieces of render timeline and I bring it into a video editing software. And then I put all of the elements together again, right? And then I render it out. And that ended up being the product I actually used. I also downloaded an upscaler that actually works. It actually works really well, surprisingly well. It looks good. So I'm excited about that as well. The fact that that actually is working. And then I I hear this morning that I have to be there by 2. I have to be there by 2 p.m. The front of house manager wants to have everything set up before 2 p.m. So I drive through. Of course, I leave here at like 12 a.m. ish. I get there by like 30 minutes past 1. I connect with my client. I actually get to meet her in person. It was nice, kind of like having that exchange. She introduces me to one of her partners, to some of the other people that's there as well. And then I get taken to the person who's going to be running the video walls. And I just populate the timeline with all of my work. And then I left. And then I left. I feel kind of bad because I, in part, told Joy Vive that I'll show you friends that festival, but I, in part, would have shown you if I stayed. And that I thought was originally the plan. That was a part of the stress of this weekend that I was gonna have to go through from 7 p.m. tonight all the way to 4 a.m. tomorrow, because that's when the event is ending. That's the amount of frames I made, for it to go up until 4 a.m. in the night. And I was like feeling some way about the fact that I'm gonna have to go there and then spend an insane amount of time basically waiting to hit a single button. So again, there's a software called Resolume. I load all of my video files in the order they're supposed to be played in into the Resolume timeline. And the guy who actually, the people who are doing the video wall installation, they have to be there in front of house to take care of everything. I think they're doing the sound as well, actually. They're gonna handle it for me. So here I am, back home. I have done my work. It is finished. I have driven through. I have put my work on a new computer. My work on that new computer now has the ability to display everything that I've made. So technically, I get to melt into relief. I get to melt into relief. I'm done. I'm done. I am done. And I am successfully. I did. I am. I am so successfully. I feel good about it. Don't tell me. Can you tell a dumb farmer what rendering is? I can only think of rendering fat. Rendering. Hey Google, define render. Render. Uh, cause to be or become, to make. Yeah, so render means to make something, right? And then when you render in a computer term, you can think of it like photos, right? A video technically is just a bunch of photos that are put very close to each other, right? And then there's minor movements from photo to photo. And then in those minor photo to photo movements, there is a video that happens. So when you start rendering something, your PC basically runs through that process of processing each of those frames, each of those images, right? Because it is an image. It like takes a photo and then that photo gets put in the folder and then next photo and it puts in folder. That process is rendering. So it's like taking the media you've made and exporting it to a video, something you can use. But in order to do that, you have to render your work. Christine, it's nice having you here, friend. Sending you blessings. Maybe describe what the finished products are supposed to be. I'm just so lost. So, essentially, it went from, hey, Melt, you're gonna have to create bespoke content for every single artist. Uh, gonna have to have their torso, not their torso, their portrait. Gonna have their portrait, bumping up and down. They didn't tell me to do that. They didn't tell me. They didn't tell me to do anything. Technically, I did that myself, but I made it look nice and dynamic, right? So imagine I can show you. I can show you. I don't. I'm not. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I'll do it anyway. I did take these videos. So let me show you. That's what the event looks like, or the venue looks like. All right, so that's the PC that I put on, and that's the event, the venue. And here you can see, oh, this is the lights. There, the lights are on. But yeah, if you could see, you see there's a DJ name and a face bumping up and down. This is me skipping between all of the DJ frames that I made. And then after that DJ frame is on for a while, it basically switches to, maybe it will show. Okay, no. Yeah, no. It switches to other media, right? So it went from me creating that frame you just saw of the DJ standing and his name or her name being behind, kind of like dynamically moving with them in the frame, alongside some images that I took their branding with, I took their color hues with, created a bunch of images, took those images, turned them into video files, took those video files, looped them back onto itself, took those looped onto themselves videos, and then put them behind, like a background, in front of the person. And then that person is like, womp, womp, womp. And then I put effects on that video layer as well. And then after that happens, for literally 10 seconds, that's technically the amount of work I did for each, amount of my content that's on each. Then it cuts to a 1 minute 30-second ad. Oh goodness, I'm not. I just got a message telling me my data is finished, but I am on the Wi-Fi. So I create all of these files just like that, right? Just the DJ dynamically moving with the stage. And then they're like, yeah, actually, we need you to do this, this, and that. And then I do this and that, and I build the timeline again, right? Like, imagine an ad, literally an ad. Imagine like the ads you see on TV, but 1 minute and 30 seconds of that. So it's 10 seconds of the content I made, and then 1 minute 30 seconds. This gap should be bigger. 1 minute 30 seconds of the content they wanted me to add. Then there's another piece of content for South African tourism, the the South African Tourism Board or whatever sponsored that whole event. Then there's a I think 30 to 40 second ad for them. Then there is like 5 seconds of the actual venue that I created like a background with their text and some effects that make it look kind of alive. And then it loops back to the DJ with their face and the background doing the things. It's I hope I hope that is the clarity that you were requesting for the duck dad. I learned a lot. I've not done any of those things. Not one of those things. I've made the frames. I've made frames, but I've not played with people's portraits. I've not played with text for the DJs. I've not tried to make text dynamic, and I've not rendered into timelines like that. I didn't even know I could do it until it was being done. So, I learned some things. And I feel good. I feel relieved. I feel relieved to be on the other side of it now. Happy to show you friends as well. How many gigs is this file? It was 500, between 500 and 600 megabytes per clip, and each clip is like 3 minutes long. So I think the total folder size ended up being something like 8 or 9 gigabytes, which is not big, because I like re-rendered all of my timelines into like a 1080p timeline because I had them on 4K, and the LED walls, technically there's a lot of gap between those pixels, so the pixel density isn't that high. Still about 1080p, but I still upscaled it and then kind of like cut it down again just with my video editor. But those original 4K files were between 3 and 4 gigabytes per clip, and they were 3 minutes long. You know, like 3 minutes for 4 gigabytes is a pretty big file, but they're not that big, everything considered. Mel, was there a test run before you left? That video I just showed you, friends, that was me test running through every single frame, making sure every single frame can be seen, is visible. So a test run was test run at least. Joe, I see you. There's no reason to feel that way if you're still flexible. Did I miss some? No. Adapt yourself. Joe, are you going through it? I love you. Sometimes it's hard to ride the waves. I just saw the good morning, brother message. Let me open it again. No, it's still same. Christine, I have sat and watched and measured and weighed my environment. It's me. I feel like I'm missing some context. I'm only seeing the good morning, brother, and then that little piece of message. Heavy shoulders and happy animals make a tired man. Swampy, I'm here going through it if you need a battle buddy. Or if you need a stern, profanity-laced talking to, I'm available as well, Joe. Maybe you should hit her up, Joe. Sam would enjoy it too. Loizana's here with us. Nancy, bless you again, dear friend. It's always a pleasure. Tristan, nice having you too. I don't understand it enough to do it, but you gave me enough to appreciate all your hard work. You're paving your own way, my dude. I am trying. I am really trying. It is not always easy, as you friends have probably noticed in this experience we call living. But I feel good in knowing that I'm not stupid. And then at the same time reminding myself that it's okay to be. You know? I was like thinking about that a lot today, thinking about the capital that has been brought into my life by me knowing how to do these things, right? And technically, all of the skills I used over the weekend, I gained becoming a YouTuber, right? And if you're going to look at it from a time vested to money made, I am making a massive failure of my YouTube career, right? Smoking weed on YouTube probably isn't the best way to make a career on YouTube. But, but all of the skills I've learned over these last few years came in very handy over this weekend. And even though I know how to do these things are not hard. These things are not hard. It's just a matter of knowing what the buttons do and how to press them. And I was thinking about that from the perspective of, yes, I do believe I'm intelligent, but I also believe, because I was stressing about what's the setup gonna look like when I get there, how am I gonna get my media running on the LED wall. I was worried about all of that stuff. And then I was like, hey, dude, technology is made for people. And this is really how I articulate it to myself. And this is not me trying to be mean, this is me trying to make a fact or make a point. And I go, technology is made for people, and people are stupid. You're not stupid, so you'll be fine, I say to myself. And I get there, and I was fine. I was. Right? User interfaces have gotten very far, and they make it pretty easy for the average person to actually do cool stuff. Our tools have become very powerful indeed. But yeah, I feel I have talked about this enough now. I breathe, I release, and then I add some heat to my dynamite, to my trident. The trident app. Click. I don't know what strain this is. It was a gift, but it tastes like cookies. Cookies and hard candy. Like, you know that candy they put around chocolate sometimes? That hard candy, little shell layer. That's kind of what that tastes like. Cookies that had like Astros or Smarties or M&Ms in them. But all of the chocolate melted away and it only left those little sugary shelly bits alongside the cookie flavors. That would be the closest to a description I can give you. It is Father's Day. So, if you were a father, happy Father's Day. I hope it's a beautiful one. I did send my dad a message. He didn't reply. Maybe I should have sent more message. Right? And I wanted to, for what it's worth. While I was typing him his, happy Father's Day message, I was like, I kind of wanna not tell you about this, but I also kind of do. I think it's Father's Day, and I think to myself, it would be nice if you send your father a message on Father's Day. And I like fight with myself. I'm like, my father doesn't care. I say to myself, right? I literally got work this weekend, and I won't tell my father about it. Not from a perspective of like I don't want to tell him, but I don't see the point in telling him. I can tell him, "Oh, Dad, I just earned a whole month's worth of rent in a single weekend." And I don't know if it would really move the needle, so to say. So I'm like, kind of like thinking, if you will, thinking back to when my mom had Mother's Day this year, and I remember myself sending her a message, and I think about that, and I'm like, yeah, well, guess it's only fair that I send my dad a message as well. So I opened my chat and I sent him a message, and it is something as simple as "Gelukkige Vadersdag, Papa," which just goes like "Happy Father's Day, Dad." And then I like spacebar, and I start typing more, something along the lines of wanting to relate more, thank you for being such a great dad, yada yada. I'm like building all of this conversation in my mind. And then I just go, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. And I just send the Happy Father's Day message. And now having not been replied to all day, now I'm again kind of like, maybe I should have sent more. Maybe sending more would have been, what was necessary. And your daddy's one. Love is true. So yeah, I did tell my mom. I did tell my mom that we have work, that we got work this weekend. I shared my excitement about this whole stuff we're going through with her because I think she does care. And it's not that my dad doesn't care. It's just, his metric of value and of worth and of success. Like I was really tripping out last night thinking about the fact that I'm doing this work. And I had to stay up until 2 a.m. to get it done. But then I got paid to do this work, and the amount of time it took me in other doings to make this amount of money, and thinking about a fight me and my dad had a long time ago, where it was a conversation about the way we use money. Like my dad, unfortunately, has a habit, or at least he had for a while there. I don't know if he's still practicing it, but he has this habit of wanting to buy a deal. And his best bet to buy this deal is to buy from auction. So he'll find himself on these auction websites, being on sometimes the most ridiculous trash. Literally, sometimes on stuff that as soon as it gets here, gets thrown straight into the trash. Right? And I've seen this. And like it was a fight that day about that, where I was like, Dad, like, why are you wasting money? You know, why are you wasting money on literal trash, like actual trash, stuff that gets thrown away? And then he goes, when you make money, you can you can decide how you spend it or something like that. And I go, I will make money. And he looks at me, with like a mean demeanor. I can still remember it. And he goes, who's gonna pay you? So I don't know. Part of me feels like if I share my good news with my dad, it's like a fuck you to him. So I don't. Maybe it's me. Maybe the energy in me, the fact that I feel, still a sense of, I don't know, guessing again, we said it yesterday, wanting to be trusted. Wanting to be trusted with my own life, wanting to be trusted that I am capable of making good decisions and bringing value into this world that people would want, that people would need. There's this line from Dirk Gently, and if you haven't seen it, it's pretty good, pretty good watch. That goes, the cases I get assigned to do not get solved unless I solve them. Or something like, if I don't solve them, nobody does. The cases I end up on, if I don't solve them, nobody does. And I was thinking about this weekend being a circumstance like that. Who would have solved this case if I didn't haphazardly just step up to do it? And I could have said no. I could have just been like, no. And I don't want to I have more than enough to do. I want to be calm for a little bit more. We're gonna work next weekend again. Next weekend, I think, is gonna be more fun though. We've been doing good work for next weekend. Like the scale versus the quality of work that we made for this festival coming up. There's like an order of its own. We did have 3 weeks for this one coming up though, and I had like 2 days for the one that is happening right now. Suffice it to say, I am excited. I am very excited to see how these things are going to be turning out. I am relieved. I am relieved that I am not failing. We struggle with having imposter syndrome, right? What is imposter syndrome? Well, it's when you believe you aren't who you say you are, or at least when a part of you tries to convince you you aren't who you say you are. You show up in the world as a farmer, and then you see the garden, and you might be overwhelmed for a moment thinking about everything that needs to be done, and in that moment you feel like you aren't all that. And then in that feeling of you aren't all that, it starts telling you that actually you're not even a farmer. You don't actually know what you're doing at all, the imposter monster says. Right? And being able to slowly but surely, I don't know. I don't know if it's gone. Like I was in a state of true anxiety this morning again, right? Like bodily anxiety. Like anxiety upgrades at some point from just being mental to being physically embodied as well for me. And it usually is a proximity thing. The closer the thing I believe is important gets, the the like lower the anxiety shifts into like a physical experience. And it makes me like kind of flustered, uh, jittery, I think is maybe a better word as well. Makes me vibrate, mm, shaking a little bit. And as soon as I saw the PC and I got all of my stuff uploaded, feeling all of that stress melt away, our ability to feel relief. Maybe we stress so that we can feel relieved. No, you tell me. Stretch and pull, placed and required to assist. I perform well, but left to my own requirements, I just want to go back to sleep. Yeah. I had like a conversation about that with a friend the other day. Some people, all people, are different. And the way we interface with this reality differs from person to person. And I'm specifically thinking about the way that Duck Dad, no, Joe Poe is talking about right now. Like if he is being given direction, something to do, it will get done. But left to his own devices, in his words, might leave things tired, unenthused. I don't know. I didn't know what to say to that friend, Pojo, and I don't know if I know what to say to you either. The part of me that is very egotistical wants to give you direction. Is that the word you used? Wants to place you, require you to assist in certain ways so that you can perform in the way that you were supposed to. I don't think there's something wrong with you for what it's worth, right? Again, it's very masculine to want that structure, that clarity, that clear communication, and then to do it, and then to feel helpful, to feel useful, to feel valuable, to feel important in doing so. And it's not just a man thing either, so you are loved, bro. There's nothing wrong with you. Today's special Star Trek Sunday, we'll be exploring leadership and how it's never too late to do the right thing. Show up, get sci-fi church. That does sound nice. Is it Picker Day on Father's Day? Is that how it works? This will be my first Father's Day that I'll be alone. I very much need the break, but it also feels like I'm neglecting my daddy duties. It is a part of your daddy duties to be of good mental health. So, allow yourself moments of peace as well, dude. You're not being a bad dad for that. That it sounds cool, Mel. Congratulations. Thank you, Nancy. I am. I am excited for these journeys. Maybe if I success hard enough, I'll be able to come to America at some point. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? I think it would be pretty fun, in fact. mm My father's name is Mike. My father's name is Mike, bless him. Mel, you need to make a promo reel of your visuals to give to potential future clients. It's not a bad idea. For some reason, I'm neglecting to do that. I think it's because I want it to be good. And I don't know if I have what it takes with my cell phone alone to make it look good. With the potentially poor lighting and the overexposed LEDs, and I'll get the gear. I'll make the money to buy the gear, to take the videos, to show to clients, to make more money. It, that's the workflow, it seems. Love is true. Ain't your daddy Swampy? You're a good daddy. Name is really Mike. Yeah, Tina's name is Mike. That's true. Unfortunately, love is true. Swampy, if you check Discord General, I put up close to a really beautiful doe yesterday. I got up close to a doe yesterday. We stared into each other's eyes for like what felt like 5 minutes. One of my favorite moments like that I've ever had was not with a deer, but with a hare. It's not technically a rabbit. It was a long-legged, long-eared hare. And this hare, while I was meditating in the early morning hours, the sun was just rising, right? So it was like this beautiful, warm color everywhere. This bunny, like, came onto our lawn and then just came and sat directly in front of me while I was meditating. And in my hippie woo-woo meditated mind, I was convinced that I was outputting such good vibes that that little rabbit was like basking in my glory. I'm sorry for the words I use sometimes, but that's what it felt like. I felt like, yeah, this little bunny, this little hare was here because I'm doing something good. I'm doing something pure. I'm not. This bunny feels safe with me, right? And it felt very nice. And that bunny was aware of me, and that bunny was aware of me being aware of it because I opened my eyes, and it kind of had like a moment of, what's he gonna do? And then he saw me just chill, and then he chilled alongside me, well, in front of me. Isn't that strange that we can find a sense of calm, sense of tranquility just staring at another creature? I'm sorry for the words I use sometimes. It is bad. You know, I get it. I get it raises some eyebrows. But it is fun. It is fun talking like that. So I'm apologizing more for the sake of all of our collective sighs. This strain has a little Bovita pack in it alongside it. I've heard some people say that Bovita packs messes with terpene profiles, And I haven't really found that to be true necessarily. What I have found it to do is add a nice amount of humidity to my butt that makes it very nice and fluffy. Very nice and fluffy indeed. And alongside that fluffiness, last night we had some pomegranate and cherry flavored rooibos tea. And that in combination with this might have been one of the best experiences I've had smoking bud in at least like 7 months. It was so nice. It was so sweet. They complemented each other perfectly. I'm gonna read some more comments before hitting the stand up. Recognizing, remembering. I forgot. Didn't see you there. Love to you too, Loizana. Duck. I have no daddy, but I recognize the daddy vibe. And I appreciate that work that daddies do. Love is true. Mm-hmm. Duck, there must have been some serious oxytocin exchange between you and that doe. Is it oxytocin in that moment? I mean, you can release oxytocin with eye contact, so it could be. We don't have hard candy covered in chocolate. That's not a thing here. Do you have M&Ms? Yeah, thought so. That's chocolate covered in hard candy. It's a hard coat, a candy coat, hard coney cat coat, candy cups. Yes, it is. I think you do. There's another brand called Smarties, but I think your Smarties are also like sugar, just like straight sugar pressed in pellets. When we have a Smarties that's also like a chocolate covered with a hard candy. That is what we call it. That is what if you bite into it, it will crunch. It will make like a little just for a second. Duck, critters can hear your spirit. They will sit with you if you don't want to eat them. How about that? I didn't want to eat that hair in that moment. Like not at all. So maybe if I was hungrier, it wouldn't have gotten closer. Nope, I'm going to pick up some super lemon G today. Pretty excited to try that, especially of the Dynavapra. Bless you. Super lemon G. I hope it tastes good. I'm sure it will. Wait, Joy Beef, is that true? You'd think the American Dental Association would be all over approving something like that. The hard candy covered chocolates. Ah, we come to get high, so high. Well, I'm glad you texted your dad. Ah, me too. I need to do that too. It can just be a short text, right? Just showing because they probably do wonder if you're thinking about them, and just a small text might be like the confirmation that they need to be like, okay, I am still a dad to children, and my children are still aware of the fact. Good, good. That's at least what I hope I give my dad, in letting him know that he should have a good day. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I'm positive. I missed a few. It's good to get reference to the ones we love. Reverence is the word you use, though. Reverence to the ones we love. I'm positive my wife won't tell her My wife won't tell her Happy Father's Day. Your wife won't tell her dad Happy Father's Day? The man likes the title, not the job. Acknowledging their achievements and accomplishments in a simple way by saying thank you. Nothing else is needed. Agreed. I can't believe your dad would say that, but maybe he has a little bit of a free spirit in him, and he's jealous that you're paving your own way, and he goes to work every day. I mean, he's not going to work every day right now. He's been unemployed for like 7 months again. A little bit longer than 7 months now. So it's kind of scuffed. It's kind of scuffed, right? Because I think maybe that's in part what bothers him as well, is the fact that he really did do what they told him he needed to. He got his degree, he worked his corpo jobs, he made other people hundreds of millions, literally, like actually, hundreds of millions of rand. I don't know if it is hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe like 100 of million of dollar, but not hundreds. Because when he was working in the mining industry, he would be very good at his job, right? As a manager, and then eventually a CEO of the site. And I would hear these horror stories of like these quotes that come over his desk that need to be approved for like $20 million this thing. And then he does like 20 minutes of research and he finds that thing for $5 million, right? Just from another contractor that sells the exact same thing, but doesn't have homies that are upcharging on the upcharge and the upcharge. And then doing that for like decades, saving these mega corps so much money. And like always asking him like why doesn't he get like commissions? Like surely if you save your company millions and technically it's a budget thing. They have a budget and you're supposed to spend that budget eventually. And my dad was just very like meticulous about that budget. But I don't think you just get the parts of the budget you save. That would be a great incentive, but I think that would also mess with things significantly. So, point I'm making, dad did everything he was supposed to, right? Got his degree, spent his years in the industry, saved other people money, and after he was working for that coal mine, coal is dying. And I was saying this to him when he got that job. I was like, "It's great, Dad, that you got this job, and I'm happy for you. But start looking for something else." And he goes, "Why would I look for something else? Coal is gonna be, like in his exact words, coal will be big, for the rest of my life, right?" And then another one is like, "We will not stop using coal before I die." And then surprise, surprise, I think how long was it? A few months after we had that conversation, the the mine doesn't have money anymore because nobody wants to invest in that mine. And they can't understand why nobody wants to invest in the mine. And they're gonna have to retrench like 1,000 employees from that mine because nobody wants to invest in that mine. And me being like, yeah, Dad, that's what I said. It's a coal mine. That's good. It's good that we're not investing in coal mines. And then him going like, nah, it's a bunch of greenwashing. Just a bunch of greenwashing. They're just like taking money from them to go and give it to renewables instead. I'm like, yo, that's exactly what they're doing. And good. Good that they're doing that. Fucking fantastic. Do more of that. Right? So now my dad is again in that position of like these companies can on a whim just tell you that they're no longer paying you and then they don't. And my dad unfortunately like me also has a certain level of pride. And there is this thing that happens, I think, and I've noticed it in my mind, where as soon as you get paid a certain amount, you almost don't want to work for less than that. And my dad doesn't like that process much of finding work and then potentially being offered less than he's been paid before. So many fractals. So many fractals of what I'm thinking about the way he must see me. because I went literally the opposite direction. I refused to go to university. I moved out of the country and worked in a foreign one on a whim. And now I'm working online for the most part, which is also something that is so far out of his frame of reference. Perspective. I'm being a little bit of a like a crybaby right now. I can feel it. I can feel little crybaby energies. I'm thinking about Gox. If you don't know who Gox is, Gaux, maybe another X. Gox. He makes, alongside the help of his dad, incredible videos. Like really incredible videos. And I just think about stuff like that from like there are people in this world that see the talent of their children and like give themselves to see that like work, to see that become something. And Gox is ridiculously successful right now. And I believe if it wasn't for his dad, his willingness to help him with his filming and giving him that opportunity, giving him that space, giving him that trust, would he have been who he is? Probably not. And then and like in hindsight, I find myself wishing for something that is already too late to have, right? A childhood, a certain type of childhood. Can't go back to. Can only go forward. Maybe when that day comes, I'll be able to play the role in my son's life of a little bit more, what I would call love. I think I'm pretty far behind, but I'm gonna get there. Jim Crocs, I've got a name, reminds me of you and your dad. Not, I don't know that one actually. Your neighbor is home, time to pet the donkey. Donkey can live for 40 years, that is wild. Just read about that. It's part of your dad's duties to have good. It's part of your dad duties to have good mental health. Oh shit, like that one up. Maybe I'll success. Maybe I'll succeed enough to leave America. Dude, yeah, blessed, bro. A meditation here sounds like you had a Disney princess moment of transcendence. It did feel like that, bro. I was like, yes, this is special. Me and Bunny meditating here together. Healthy Chris is an honorable name who has a mountain of responsibility. His free spirit that wants to dance and sing is often overwhelmed by the reality that he has work to do. Yeah, it's true. It is true. What is it like to be my dad? What a fucking weird question that is to ask. It does make me relate to him a little bit more because I can see me in his behavior and his demeanor. I just see the immature version of me. And I think that's the part that like messes with me a lot. My dad never really had the opportunity to be a person. And I say this very like coyly from a place of 100% ignorance and stupidity. I want to make that clear. But the way I see it, from my perspective, my dad went from being a kid to losing his dad to a strange man starting to sleep with his mom kind of vibes, right? And this strange man also had four children already. And my dad was a part of three children. And then they had two more children. I think they ended up having nine in total. Mm. Right? So that was his environment. Grew up very poor, very, very poor. And then got sold this idea that if you become an engineer, you're smart enough and you become an engineer, then life will be good. And for the most part, it was. Like he finished high school, went to went to the Wehrmacht, the army, came back from the army to start studying, got a bursary, right? So he didn't have to pay for his own studies. He got a full ride. Then after that full ride, went straight to the company that paid for his bursary so that he can work his studying off. But he's working his studying off, and he's getting paid enough money to buy a house and a car and take care of me, and then eventually three other children. And then by the time he looks again, we're adults, and he finds himself in a different world, a completely different world. And like this is like naive, and it's very ignorant because I don't know my dad. He doesn't talk to me enough for me to know him like this. But there is like a certain level of like, I think, stunted development. Having a children, having a child at the age of 26, right? As in, my dad at my exact age, where I'm sitting here right now, had me as flesh and blood in his arms. I am only now starting to like open the fractal of like real work that is going to be required of me. And if I just pay attention for a few seconds as to what my behavior is like when I'm working to make a difference, how is having a child compatible with that? I don't think it is. So my dad never had that opportunity, and you can I don't feel bad about it, just for what it's worth. You can believe the guilt, right? Like the fact that you should feel bad about your existence, but I don't. He made choices of his own. They did wait 2 years. He married my mom and waited 2 years before having me. So maybe that was like a little bit of a something. But still, 2 years ago, I was 2 years less mature. 2 years less mature. The maturity only now starts. Love is true. Mm. Oh, Malti, brand new sentence. Disney princess moment of transcendence. Malti is also a Disney princess, so we know. So we know too now. Thinking of you, Jovan. I wonder if she's here to see that. It doesn't look like it. That's so nice, Kristen. Love is true. It's like that doe was telling me that the pace she is moving is a natural one, and I need to stop moving at the speed of light, bouncing from crisis to crisis. I get what you're saying, right? The whole this way she's moving, this slow movement, gentle, calm, little small step in front of the other. That is natural. Moving in that way is natural as well. But if you start, storming off on her, she would have probably ran pretty fast. So there is balance. Both of those are natural. Don't be too hard on yourself, bro. You're not too far off. But I am seeing you listening to that wisdom in that moment and slowing yourself down a little bit. Makes me want Jordan almonds. Jordan almonds are the chocolate covered almonds, right? I got stoned with a friend yesterday afternoon without feeling any anxiety, just like it used to be. Yay, Nancy. That's such good news. May you have many more good times. I'm seeing it. Maybe the fact that you did it with a friend is what helped. Melt in. Sam, good sentence or bad one. You would depend on the application, I think, Mike. Do you have M&Ms? They're candy coated hard. Yeah, that is what I said. They are candy coated hard chocolates. We have chocolate covered raisins, but it's generally agreed upon that if you actually enjoy them, you are a person with taste that cannot be trusted. So, I am among those who, in fact, do not enjoy raisins covered with chocolate. I do, however, enjoy raisins with peanuts. Something I didn't enjoy at one point in my life and started to at least. The sun is shining. Do I make more beams? It's fine. I'm gonna add some more heat to this system. My intention is to appreciate the space that we have created, to appreciate the opportunities that are allowed me, to appreciate my sensitivities in spotting mosquitoes. I will slay you. You will be slain. That mosquito is biding its time. That mosquito is rubbing its filthy little palms together and conspiring. I can feel it. This is my blood. You have been denied permission to steal of me. And if you try, I will slay you. Demon. Alright. What? I think I missed some. I just saw a mic. What the fuck? I got love again to you, Nancy. Nancy, that sounds amazing. I have never sat around and got high with friends locally. I bet it's so much fun. Never? Never done that? That's almost hard for me to believe. I believe you, of course, but it's just like my frame of reference for so long has been the whole smoking bud with friends, right? So that to me is normal. I look forward to the day we get to smoke a joint together, bro. Or hit our Dynavaps separately. You know what I'm saying. Love is true. I mean, the anxiety is getting better. Bless you again. I'm hoping that it is in part your medication helping. Why am I not happy? Nan's Bob's Burgers had a white something like. I think I'm having an anxiety attack. I mean, I don't really know. It's like this all the time. Maybe we're in through the things. I did everything they told me to do. Why am I not happy? Yeah, I think happiness is gonna be way more elusive to my dad because like my mom is a very complex person. And yet, in the ways that really matter, not. Not in like trying to like sly her or cast shade. But with the things that my dad can do, that he's supposed to do, if you want to use that terminology, my mom's not that complex. But with the things that, like, insane, he's like pushing the same buttons over and over again. He's not allowing himself the change that is necessary for that relationship to be more happy, if you will. Right? And it's unfortunately one of those things where changing as a person is not exactly something anybody wants to do or wants to even get to the point of having to think about doing in the first place. Sorry, it's okay, bro. Nan, I'm so glad your anxiety is getting better. Mine is too. It's so nice not having my heart beating out of my chest, pouring sweat, and my stomach in knots. Bless you both. I'm so happy to hear you're feeling better as well, Joy V. Love is true. Hello, lovely. Sorry for the bad news. I lost a baby. It is common. I'm okay. Just gonna keep trying. Love you. Zana, even though it might be common, uh, I can't imagine it is easy. And despite people maybe wanting to tell you that it's not that big a deal, maybe you even in part trying to make it not that big a deal, you are allowed to feel the things that you are gonna feel. I'm so sorry, dear friend. Love is true. May that soul continue on the journeys that it was supposed to go on. Yes, Doug. Both anxiety and melts. That no emotions, so much love. Swampy, you didn't dump my dude. You were like me. You let a little splash over the top of the bucket because it's been full for so long. That splash felt like an ocean, but so much more to go. I feel you. That is beautiful, bro. Yeah, and when we pour ourselves out, I'm gonna finish this point now. When we pour ourselves out, our words, our feelings, our experience go from something that feels bottled up, kept tight and in a container, to spread out, right? If you a water bottle and you put that water bottle on a table, on your dinner table, and you see the water there, right? It feels like it's all one unit, like one thing. But then as soon as you drop that water bottle with its cap off and it starts pouring, all right? Now suddenly it's not one, like you're not like you see the bottle fall and go like, oh no, now the table is gonna be one water's worth of wet. No, you try and lift that bottle up as quickly as possible because that outpour, and it getting everywhere and touching things, is not something we want, something we usually avoid. Here we melt by nature, right? Like everything is already liquid. Everything is already changed. It's okay for you to go through these things. Love is true. You can feel the hugs hugging you more, dear friend. Joy Beef, I'm glad you're better too. Joe, I didn't think you were dumping, and even if you were dumping, it's okay to do so here. Love is true. Swampy, me neither, my dude. I have a feeling that the dam is breaking one of these days. Soon. It's don't want to narrate my hardship. That might be why I'm so very truly isolated. If you don't want to narrate your hardship, start narrating your blessings. And I'm not even joking about that. I did warn that mosquito, right? Everybody heard me, like warn it and stuff. I did. But coming back to the fractal, if you don't want to narrate your hardships, narrate your blessings. That's literally what I've been doing. That's the only thing keeping me sane. It's like keep talking about the stuff that you have to be grateful for relentlessly. Like just talk about that stuff. And it might make you feel alone in some ways, even more alone in others. Some people might wanna, not be around you if you're excited or talking about, things to be grateful for. But it is a better energy to learn not to get good in. Talk to people still, but change the energy that you're sharing. Little bits at least. I get so excited to think about getting lost in my daughter's talents and helping her grow hers. I cry hard. It's okay, bro. Swampy. That hits home. I've never thought about it like that. I don't know if I'm missing context. I just other narrate the hardships of feeling isolated. We were the generation that were told you can do anything you want. But that usually was followed by accept that because it won't make money. Uh, People said the same thing to me. I just got a message from my client. Good news, it was lovely meeting you. You have such lovely energy. Thank you so much for everything. Mm. Isn't that nice? Love is true. I'm so grateful for that. Na, 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 na. I want to be the generation that says you can do anything you want, and I will help. You already are, bro. You just said it. I'm trying to unbreak my heart every single day. I wake up with an uphill struggle to see the world in a more beautiful depiction than we are fed. I constantly try to unite the bonds of corruption and control, but daily I watch this world and I attempt to equate the beauty. Love you guys a bunch. You're not doing anything wrong, bro. You're not doing anything wrong. It is rough. It is rough. Like there was this morbid moment shared today, and I'll share it just because I feel like I relate to you right now in what you just said, Joe. Where the venue that I was working at is in a very, in so many words, like low income area. So like that's kind of the vibe. To just say it in so many words because that's the best way I can create clarity, right? And me in that environment, I stand out like a sore thumb, especially with the way I'm dressed, right? I look like I just got beamed down from Planet Party, onto Africa. That's what I look like walking in these environments. So I could feel literally thousands of sets of eyes on me. I can see youngsters, right? Like a bunch of teenagers. They spot me and they start cacking themselves. They're laughing out loud, right? And I'm thinking to myself, these oaks probably just said something like, "Look at this white boy, lost. This white boy is so lost right now. He doesn't know where the hell he is." Laughing their asses off. And I woke up straight to them. I woke up straight to them and their laughing asses, and they stopped laughing. And I go, "Hey, do you know where Zone 6 is? There's a venue in this area called Zone 6. Channel O is performing there or has an event there tonight." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's in that direction." I'm like, "Thank you so much." And then I strut, fucking walk away from that experience. Oh, walking into it. Where was I trying to take you? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So about the whole trying to relate to you, Pojo. Then I come out of that experience again, right? I've now already transferred all of my media. I'm walking back to the car, and I get stopped by these two African ladies. I basically stopped myself. I heard them like having a conversation about like, oh, when is the Channel O thing starting? And I go, oh, it's starting at 7 p.m. And then she's asking me, do I know where the film crew is? Because they're supposed to park here. And I'm like, I've seen some film crew guys inside. I don't know if maybe some of them are already here and they just kind of found themselves a place to park kind of vibes. And an exchange is had. They tell me they like the way I dress, that I look hippie. They ask me where I'm from. Man, people ask me where I'm from. People don't believe I'm from here. People don't believe it. They're like, where are you from? And then I start speaking Afrikaans to them, and then their faces go, what? And I'm like, ja, ek weet. Ek klink nie Afrikaans nie, maar ek is. Eintlik is ek Afrikaans, eintlik. Mag ek maar Afrikaans praat. And then they like laugh, saying that I'm like speaking Burki. And they ask me, are you not worried? Like walking in this area, like, I'm not worried I'm gonna get stabbed or something. And I go, you know, I gave up on living a long time ago. And I tried to kill myself. And I say that and they laugh. They laugh because I do say it in that voice of like, I'm not scared to get stabbed because I have like getting stabbed is potentially fatal, right? Potentially. You going as far as to actually go fatal, it's like a step further. So just getting stabbed to me is like, I think that would be like a cool story. I wouldn't want to get fatally stabbed. I would like want to call the hospital up. I'm gonna try and drive myself to the hospital. Jeez, I don't want to go down this road. Let's just stop that right there. Let's reel it back. Right? But I'm joking. I'm joking with these two ladies. I'm like, and I, at one point in my life, went as far as to not want to live anymore, And then they're like, yeah, we get it, like relating to that experience, joking in that line as well about it's one thing to want to live, it's one thing to enjoy living in a place. It's a whole other thing to live in South Africa in some ways, right? And like there's a moment of like just like, yeah, what the hell, we might as well die, but we're not. We're not dying, are we? No. And that Pojo, that in my mind, and that's what I'm trying to share right now. Even though that conversation is kind of morbid, to me in my mind, it showed that despite the differences in our potential circumstances, in our skin color, in our genders, right? Because they're ladies as well, like the amount of hardship that our women face alone. So I go through this experience of this just feeling, this kernel of truth that is just continuing existing. Of like, yeah, despite it all, we're continuing our existence. To the point of being like fearless, shameless, going into these environments knowing that your existence might be snuffed out just simply for existing as you are. And then being like, that's fine. That is actually fine because I am here to live, not here to die. Right? And that is the advice if I'm gonna give you any, Pojo. That's the advice I would like you to take, bro. You waking up in the morning, don't find don't find hope, don't find, that what do you mean? Don't try to unite the bonds of corruption and control. Don't do that. Don't, please. And I was having a tangential thought today, thinking about, is it possible for me to change people's minds, right? Like, can I convince people? And not like people, but like, can I convince millions, hundreds of millions of people of something? And that's a big question to ask myself. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the words to be able to do that. And again, that is my mind's want to try and unite the bonds of corruption and control. Right? And I just bring it back to being grateful to simply be alive instead. Yeah, control, and I like it. I do. The masculine in me is definitely not shy of wanting control. But the feminine in me is me, right? This body is feminine in nature. It changes ceaselessly from one moment to the next. There are so many changes that have happened. I couldn't even articulate it if I wanted to. And this relationship we're a part of is one of love. This unchanged masculine that wants control, witnessing the changing feminine, that which cannot be controlled. And your relationship to that feminine is your relationship to life. And unfortunately, it ebbs and flows. And our relationships can grow better, can grow stronger, can grow more beautiful, and our relationships can fall apart. The thing that's most important is not believing it's the end of the story, right? Like with a relationship, like with my dad, we do not have a good relationship. Maybe I should articulate it in I don't like my dad, but I'm holding out hope that I might one day. Maybe one day we'll get along. And as long as I hold on to that, maybe one day, there exists a potential. As soon as I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. And I've gotten there emotionally, but I've not gotten there physically, right? Like the feminine, the part of me that still longs for connection, longs for closeness with those that I love, cannot cannot abide by my masculine's want to control what I spend my time on. Being like, nope, I will not. I will not go there. Learn to love the feminine. Maybe that's all of our homeworks. Oh, but Mel, I am feminine. Yeah, everything is. That's the point I'm making. The part of you that is unchanged. The part of you that has been here the whole time, kind of vibes. Sure, through this lens that you experience as a human body right now, you have attached to this lens memories. But that memories are as a film fluttering frames in front of your eyes of the screen to your experience. They're not you. They're not you. You are the unchanged. And it is trippy to me how even though I understand that, I can I can celebrate the masculine part of me that is changing as well. Talking about these polarities can get so difficult because we have bad words. Again, I say the word masculine, and subconsciously or not, maybe you imagine an entity that has a penis attached to them, when that's not what masculinity is, necessarily. Right? Masculinity and mind is a kind of polarity, like a magnet's poles, like a positive and negative. An energy exchange happens. You can snap a magnet in half, and it creates two new magnets, both with their own independent north and south poles. You cannot take that polarity away. Isn't that fascinating? That to me, that to me is really fascinating. It's like a part of this universe's structure, its form of the duality of it all. I'm tripping out about some conversations. I'm just gonna read some comments instead. You enjoy the mouthfeel of hard chocolate giving way to wrinkly old raisin flesh? All right, but I think, and this is of course a purely hypothetical. I would never consume of the chocolate covered raisins. Never me. Somebody else maybe, you know. And if somebody else would, they would potentially just like put them in their mouth and chew on them. So you get like a sticky like raisin iness alongside the smooth flavors of chocolate, which I never do. We've established. But if someone would, that's probably how they would do it. The sucking on the chocolate until raisin comes out from the bottom. That seems like torturing yourself. You should stop doing that. Bro, I started smoking weed until I think I missed a few. Okay. Bro, I didn't start smoking weed until 30 and don't have any friends left. That's so dark, dude. I know your friend died, bro, the way you said it. And none of them partook at the time. Love is true, bro. You have me. You have a friend in me. I'll hit Dynavabs with you, bro. That's why I can't understand this. I was literally thinking the exact same thing, but I didn't verbalize it, Sam. That last comment. I'm not gonna read it out loud. No, no. My poor comment section. I'm sorry. I just held back an incredibly lewd comment. Oh, you just seats blade milk drinker. Oh, Sam, after some intense Googling, you're a baby. If you don't want to narrate your hardships, narrate your blessings. Sip, snip. You like that, Nancy? Good. I'm happy that you felt it resonate with you as well. It felt like a truth being spoken in the moment. You care to back that up with some proof, Mike? Oh, it's so nice of your clients to take the time to send you such a sweet message, Mel. As I said, like Gugu is really cool, like a really cool lady. She reminds me a lot of Jovan. I even mentioned to her, not Jovan, Joy Vive, excuse me. Being told, I think I missed a few. For real, Melty was beamed down from Planet Party. Boots and cats and boots and cats. Bro, the best part, and this is a part of me that I shouldn't really again verbalize, but that area was so tense that I take my speaker with me because the car doesn't have a sound system. So I put my speaker on my lap and listen to music like that, right? And I couldn't feel safe enough leaving my speaker in the car. So I had it around me. So strapped onto this shoulder was my speaker. Strapped onto this shoulder was my little leather satchel. And then I go, right? Again, I didn't even share this part, but I want to now because it makes me happy. I go to the venue, and there is this machine, right? Like a unit of a bouncer, right? I'm not a small guy, technically speaking. I have some width to me, but this guy is like double wide. Oh, like he has wide too, and he's not fat, just strong, right? Like will will throw you against the walls, you know, if he needed to, kind of vibes. And he pats me down, you know, to check me for guns. And I'm like, ah, I don't carry. And I make the joke. I make the joke every time. Every time someone pats me down for guns, right? I lift my arms up and then they go, no guns. And I go, only these. I know it's bad. I know. But I still do it. And then I see him being like this guy. And then he checks the speaker and he's like, oh, that's a speaker. And then he checks my leather satchel, you know, and I'm like, you can zip it open. And he zips it open and he sees my grinder and he sees my jar and he sees my lighter and he zips it closed. And he zips open the front pouch and he sees another little pouch, little Mylar bag with more bud in it. And he zips it closed and he goes, I didn't see any weed in there. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And I walk inside. But like not like he's stupid. Like he worked alongside me to allow me to keep my weed going into the venue. I didn't see any weed in there. Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, bouncer. And that also made me feel really good. You know, like surprisingly so good. Like I felt accepted. I felt accepted. Like this guy could have been like, no, like look at you, bro. You're dressed like an insane person. You want to bring weed into this venue? No, go take it back to your car or something. But no, no, I was welcomed nonetheless. Love is true. Mm, no, 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 no. It's so nice, love again, right? Thank you, dude. You should have said, it's a stab-proof cloak. My favorite line that I like to say to people when they call me, like when insurance callers call me, I literally like voice line spam them, and it's I don't like I don't do it mean. I usually have a conversation like, hey, I know it's a spam call, and I'm like, I don't need anything, thank you, and thank you for doing your job. I know you're just doing your job so you can earn some money, so you're gonna have a place to sleep. All right, that's what you're doing in this moment. I don't have to be mean to you just because you're calling me out of nowhere. And then she's like, don't you want to, get insurance? And I go, I am insured by God. And she starts laughing. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, though. Thank you. I can't really afford insurance right now, but I do appreciate your willingness to reach out. Being bold is how you survive in hard environments. Cowering makes you look like a mark. Speaking from knowledge, it's a skill to know when you stand out and when to seek to fit in. Yeah, that is true. I move like I know what I'm doing, right? I do not close my language off and scan my environment, right? That's not how I operate. If I move through an environment, I lock eyes on points and I move forward, right? The points are relatively in front of me. Does that make sense? Makes sense to some of us. I like moving forward, and I think that's also a part of it. Like depending on how you move, as Joy Weave said, you can make yourself a mark. I'm trying to disassemble. I must depart to visit my family before they leave me to my own devices. Really moving and meaningful topic today, and I thank each of you for your contributions. Thank you, Duck Dad, for joining, for contributing in the way that you have. So busted up this week. It's time for a walkabout. Thank you, everyone. I hope I see you when I return. I'll see you for sure. I look forward to it, bro. Maybe the rest of our friends will be here too. Swampy, enjoy your ability to walk about. I need one of those so bad, but no idea when I'm going to have the ability. So I pace my yard today. Walk right now. Walk when your family leaves. Just go for a nice little neighborhood stroll. Melty, it's 90 Fahrenheit. Get a wet scarf. Mm. Go for a walk, dude. Why not go for a walk? There's still some slimies on my lungs from being sick. And my nose does feel a little bit snotty as well. I'm getting some of that, my eyes tearing experiences. Mm. Oh, goodness. Why am I doing this to myself? because I want to pull a card. It went from eyes watering to those rushes of heat you get that comes like all over your body. Makes you almost like feel like you have the hot sweats for a second. All right. Love is true. Thank you. White Rhino Fino too. Mary. Mary Jane, for the love that you impart upon me. Thank you again, Bojo. Oh, I think my comments haven't been refreshing or something. Maybe I'm tripping. I'm gonna open them up again. No, that's fine. It is actually right. I was just looking at like the timelines, and I was, is that true? Has nobody said a single word in 11 minutes? Maybe you friends are just very astute. Is that the right word? Hey Google. Hey Google. Define the word astute. Astute is showing an ability to accurately assess situations or people and turn this to one's advantage. Are you turning it to your advantage right now? Are you not saying something to turn it to your advantage? Why are you doing that? You're not doing that. I'm tripping out. That's very astute of you. Boom. You are. You are the astute one. Come back. I was gonna say when a dog barks again, I'm gonna stop, and then it barked as I was starting to say the word. Hoponopono. Making waffles. We don't do food talk. But I have to ask, Mojo. What are you going to put on your waffles? Are you a fruits kind of person? Are you a whipped cream kind of person? Are you a dollops of ice cream kind of person? Are you a chocolate sauce kind of person? Are you an eggs? Are you a fried chicken on your waffles kind of person? What else can you put on waffles? I want to say freaking beef mince, but that feels very cursed. It instantly feels like I've gone too far. I'm feeding my cats, you're pulling a card. Maybe we all just got busy. It's okay. I don't worry about it. I was just tripping out. I was like, no way is that possible for a second. Kind of nice doing can be wearing the colors that we're gonna pull as a card today. Card 16. Ho, 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 ho. Pono, pono, sunset. Ho, ho. Is that the way you say it? Ho, ho. H-O. Little dashy O. How do you say that word? How? How? O? Ha. You can't ow. Oh. That's the closest that I can imagine you're supposed to say it. Ho, pono, pono. Oh, pono, pono, sunset. Card number 16. Harmony and right action. Toasted walnuts, blueberries, maple syrup, and butter. I approve these waffles. They do sound nice. Now I want waffles. You see the danger of a food talk. That's what happens. There we go. Exhibit A. Making waffles. Boom. Sam was like, oh no, I want waffles. And boom, now Joy Vive goes, I want kind of waffles too. And me goes, now I also kind of want waffles. And never would have wanted waffles if not waffles were mentioned. But I am happy. I'm happy that I now know that toasted walnuts, blueberries, maple syrup, and butter is a form, a fractal of waffles being experienced on planet Earth right now. And I will take solace in knowing that that is happening, and I will continue with my existence without having to experience that. Mm. Love is true. I'm gonna read this card. Harmony and right action. I'm trying to feel this card in the context of what we've been through this weekend. Sorry for the sniffing. It's bothering. It's like messing with my resonance chambers. I can't speak the way I don't sound like myself to myself, and it's messing with my brain a little bit. Harmony and right action. This card joins two powerful traditions. From the Hindu tantric tradition comes the geometric symbol that is the Sri Yantra. Sri Yantra. Its 9 interlocking triangles form a powerful meditation symbol that is said to encapsulate the entire universe in a single geometric visualization. From the ancient Huna tradition of Hawaii, Ho, Ho, Pana Pana is viewed as a means to bring harmony and be in right action with the ancestors, or to make things right with the people with whom you have relationships. Its intent is to correct the wrongs that have occurred in one's life. This card acknowledges your intent to create a life of freedom from guilt, shame, and blame. It asks you to meditate on the people and events in your life and to search for an understanding of what you need to know to bring them into harmony and right action. Seek harmony within yourself first. Woo! As I read those words, I literally felt myself let go of some nonsense. Let's start again. Seek harmony within yourself first. Then open to communicating with others in a manner that will bring greater understanding and harmony to all. You may enjoy offering this sunset prayer. I forgive myself and all beings for any misthought word or action that occurred in this day. I acknowledge that the universe is infinite potential and all is transpiring in perfect divine order in my life at this time. Woo! Francine Hart. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for creating something, Francine Hart, and for touching my life with your creations. Love is true. I am gonna go and settle down. Thank you, dear friends, for joining me again. It's always a dear pleasure having you here. Finished doing the dishes before the stream ended. I'm proud of you, Nancy. I'm thinking about, was it yesterday's conversation where we talked about doing something we enjoyed while doing the dishes? I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I'm like kind of tripping out about making too much of the conversation about myself these days, right? About what I'm going through and the experiences I'm having. But I hope, I really do, and I trust in your friends' intelligence, to say it in so many words, to be able to relate in depth to the stories, even though it's not necessarily your life, right? To like to fractal your lives over the experiences and see the lessons, the synchronicities. Maybe in doing so, we can all find a little bit more. I want to say something after more, but just more is good enough. Oh, Jovan. So much love. Melt and all of you have the most this beautiful day, everyone. You're for really real, so super massively appreciated. Melt and all of you. Oh, so spectacularly magnificent, magical, authentically wholesome humanimal critter creatures, treating yourself to relief. And release. Soften and go into the day knowing that you have made a difference in my life. Thank you. Thank you. And you're like, Mel, how can I make a difference in your life? You don't even know I exist. Well, you can hear these words right now and have this experience, right? And that to me, I think about that. I cannot not think about that. The significance, the implications thereof. Please, no consideration. No, please. I love you, friends. Thank you for joining me again. You make life so much more interesting. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Tomorrow, dear friends. Goodbye for now.